This episode of April and Jay Have No Ideas is brought to you by the Misconnection section of Craigslist, because MailChimp.com wanted too many bananas.
To the guy I gave a skull to, L-Train. I just wanted to let you know I wasn't a crazy lady. Here's what happened. A guy was running for a train. I saw something go flying off the end of his cane. Yes, he was running with a cane. After a few seconds of me and other waiting passengers looking around stupidly at each other, I decided to be a good Samaritan. I picked it up and saw that it was a small, polished replica of a human skull. I looked to the old man sitting next to me and said, "It's a skull." He shrugged his shoulders. I didn't want it, but I have such a particular hatred of littering that I didn't want to drop it back on the floor, lest someone think I was a dirty skull litterer. I decided the proper thing to do would be to give it back to whoever dropped the thing. So I jumped in the door of the L train and saw you with what I thought was a cane. So I said, "Here's your skull," and handed it to you. You were shocked. I thought because you didn't realize it was lost. But as I backed off the train as the doors closed, I saw that it wasn't a cane you had but an umbrella and luggage. And you clearly weren't the person who dropped the skull. I can't imagine how weird it must have been to have someone would run onto a train, shove a skull into your hand, and tell you it's yours. So I'm just ready to let you know that this isn't a voodoo ritual, an ominous mafia warning, a gang initiation, or a misguided attempt at getting to know you better. I truly thought you dropped your skull. Now what did you do with it? I'm dying to know. Originally posted July 7th, 2006. I'm April.
And I'm Jay.
And we have no ideas.
Oh my god. Did this woman really think the guy with luggage was going to be like, "Where the hell did this skull come from? I guess I'll go on Craigslist and make sure nobody explained themselves." Every week it surprises me. I shouldn't be shocked, but I'm still like, what the hell were these people thinking?
I don't know, man.
Oh, gosh. Oh, so welcome to another fun-filled episode of this podcast. With entertainment like that, who needs TV? So, this episode we decided to talk about television shows that we're disappointed that got canceled. Or the television shows that got canceled that we're still disappointed about. We even put out a call for people for people to call our voicemail that we have now and leave us messages, and we got 2 messages. So we'll start off with those. But before we get to that, you have some stories you want to tell.
Yeah, so my summer vacation started on, I guess, the 19th officially. Okay. And today is May 30th, by the way. And so since May 20th, I have done a lot of Netflixing.
Okay. Is that a word? Netflixing?
It is now. So I started and I think this is what I'm going to do on every episode through my summer vacation, just to document the sheer amount of stuff I watch. Because I feel like it's excessive already.
So the week I go to Disney and we don't record, you should just record by yourself and basically go through the plots of everything you've watched on Netflix up to that point.
The week you go to Disney, maybe I'll have a guest host.
I thought you were going to say the week you go to Disney, I'll go to Disney. I said, well, it's a family vacation, but yeah, sure, you're welcome.
And the week I go to DC, we'll either have to record 2 episodes or you can have a guest host.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll record with my wife that week.
I want to record with your wife, though, because we have stuff to talk about.
Well, you can't record with my wife while I'm in Disney, because she'll be there, too.
Well, yeah, obviously. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll take 1 week off, and you guys can talk reality TV. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyways, let's see. So I started out with the 2nd season of 13 Reasons Why.
I haven't watched the 1st season of that.
So the 1st season was really good, and the last episode, episode 13, had a very, very graphic scene where the main character, who kills herself, from the very beginning, so this isn't a surprise, but you actually see her commit suicide. Like, you watch her slit her wrists. And, like, people were up in arms about it and whatnot, and they were like, oh, this is just gonna encourage, whatchamacallit, copycats, blah, blah, blah.
Suicide, yeah.
Yeah. So the second season it's also very good. It's different than the first season, because the second season now is just it's no longer based on the book. It's just, we still have the same characters and we're still looking at things that they did, but it's more fleshed out. But the 13th episode, which is the last episode, has a very, very, very graphic sexual assault scene.
Oh my God. What the
like,
hell?
I was shocked.
That's awful.
Yeah. Like, it turned my stomach. I was like, I did not expect to see this. Yeah, it was really bad.
Will you be watching season 3 after that?
I will. No, I mean, it wasn't distasteful. It was just very realistic.
It wasn't a distasteful sexual assault portrayed on television.
It honestly, I mean, I was just shocked.
Yeah.
Because this does involve high school students. I mean, obviously they're all adults, but it played to, everything that it was leading up to.
Yeah.
But I was also surprised that they went there.
Yeah, not up my alley, but.
And then after that, I watched the third season of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, because I hadn't watched.
It's a good show.
Season yet.
Is that the newest season?
The newest season actually premiered today, but it's only half.
I think we didn't finish season 3 yet of Kimmy Schmidt.
So the first 6 episodes of season 4 premiered today, and then in a couple months they're going to put the second half on.
And I know Arrested Development season 5 is up now, so we're planning on watching that.
Yeah, so I watched that, and then I moved on to Safe.
I have not heard of it.
So it's it's a British show, starring Michael C. Hall, who is not British, and is doing a British accent.
Is it terrible?
Not terrible, but it's not the best.
Okay.
And Amanda Abington, who was on Sherlock.
Okay.
And that was only 8 episodes. And it was kind of weird. It was about like this Michael C. Hall's daughter goes missing, and it's a murder mystery on top of like a missing child story.
Gotcha.
It was decent.
Okay.
And then so the last like 3 days, I caught up on Riverdale.
Oh boy.
Which is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I have not watched one moment of one episode.
So I had like six episodes of the first season to finish, and then the entire second season, which was 22 episodes.
Yeah.
It is, so it's I can't. It's like, it's based on the Archie comics.
Oh, I know.
So like you have people like Sweet Pea, which is an actual name, and like names like that, and then Sweet Pea's a gang member.
Okay.
And so is Jughead, and there's also like Veronica's dad is a mafia, is a member of the mafia. It's so.
And Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes, Josie and the Pussycats are on it.
I know.
Josie's mom is mayor.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was definitely, as I'm watching it, I'm texting my 2 cousins and I'm like, this is like equal parts ridiculous and corny, but at the same time, really kind of enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I've been watching since May 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's see what I get into next week.
That's
I
and that.
have to catch
I was
the
gonna say
Flash.
that sounded like a cartoon. Let's see what adventure she gets into next week.
Yeah. Well, on top of like my daily 2-mile walk I do, then I come home and I have nothing to do except hang out with my dogs and either read a book or watch TV. So.
What will April Netflix next week? On Netflix and chill.
Oh, I also just watched the Natasha Leggero and Moshe Kasher honeymoon special.
Ugh. I'm not a fan of either of them.
Oh, really?
Really.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan.
It wasn't
Yeah.
bad. Because they're married now, and like she's pregnant. Well, she's had the baby since.
Are they really Are they really married?
Yeah.
I thought he was gay.
No.
Or I assumed he was.
Nope, not gay.
Apparently he is not.
But it's kind of fun. Like she does 30 minutes, and then he does 30 minutes, and then they come together and like talk to the audience, like have audience members come up on stage and talk to them.
I will say she did. I was in the car the other day and I was listening to XM radio and I was listening to like the Comedy Central channel. And she was doing a bit about women that show about the women that don't know they're pregnant. And she was like, it always ends up being like, so I got off of the Batman ride at Six Flags and this baby was following me for like 25 minutes.
Have you ever seen that show?
No. Oh, yeah, the women that are like, and I guess I was pregnant.
Yeah, I didn't know I was pregnant.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
Or what was the other joke she made? She goes, oh, God, don't eat that bean burrito. It make you lose your period for 9 months. It's ridiculous, but no,
all the ones that I have seen, the women get their period like the entire time. So like they legit didn't know they were pregnant until they're sitting on the toilet, and all of a sudden they deliver a toilet baby.
That's what she said. They're all toilet babies. She goes, they're never like, you'll never guess what happened when I went down to the stable. I was brushing Champion, and all of a sudden you'll never guess what popped out of my loins. It was little Arthur. So that was kind of funny, but otherwise, otherwise I can't stand her bit. Like her bit of being like real stuck up and snobby. Like I get that it's just a bit, but like it gets to be too much.
Yeah, no, I see that. 30 minutes was good.
Yeah. Anyway, so you have another story you want to tell. Speaking of comedians.
Yeah. So have you finally watched the?
I did not watch the John Mulaney special in question.
Ugh.
I'm getting to it. Because Sharon and I do like John Mulaney now.
I thought you guys watched New in Town.
We watched the newest one.
Yeah, and then I thought you watched the other one that was on there.
No, I don't think we watched a second.
Oh, no. You watched Comeback Kid. You haven't watched New in Town yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so he does this whole bit about how drag queens in New York City are really mean. And hold on, we can play sound now. I just gotta find the right one. But anyways, he like goes into this whole thing about how drag queens in New York are mean and they always like give him a hard time and whatnot. And strawberry. Hold on. John Mulaney. I'm sorry. This is like I know you guys love hearing us search for things.
Yeah, really.
I have had a great time here in San Francisco. It's been very fun. I have a lot of drag queens in my neighborhood in New York, so I felt right at home when I was here. It's very cool. I have lots of drag queens around, and I like to study them.
Why? This is like before he sounded like a carnival barker.
He sounds like a carnival barker here too.
Not really. He sounds like a normal guy. But anyway, all right, play another minute of it real quick.
And I mean more like the high-end kind of drag queens, not like your tenderloin drag queens, who I'm sorry aren't even fucking trying. Like a lot of them just have like a mop on their head and a skirt, and they're like, I'm a gal. You're not a gal. You're not a gal. Really, funny. Fancy drag queens are funny though, because like a lot of drag queens, it's like they're under the impression that they're like a celebrity.
This is the part that I'm.
It's like they all have this attitude of like, don't you know who I am? I'm Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Okay. All right, so Strawberry Alarm Clock.
So now you have the backstory. So
yes, okay.
So like 2 weekends ago, I'm in the grocery store, and I'm in the seasonings aisle in Hannaford getting Swedish meatball and beef stroganoff packets.
Okay.
And this woman walks up to me and compliments my pink hair because I have, well, at the time I didn't have fully pink hair. I just had pink roots. Now I have hot pink hair. So I say thank you, and she goes, I'm a drag queen. Could you tell? And I said, yeah, I definitely could tell.
Could you tell? Yeah, pretty much.
And then she goes, well, how do I look? Like, totally fishing for compliments. And I'm like, great. And you could really tell it was her first time out in drag. And I guess I just have one of those faces that says, come talk to me.
Yep. Yep.
So then she goes on and on about what she's going for. She was trying to go for like a 60s Hillary Clinton kind of vibe. And then she goes, do I look as good as Marlo Thomas? And I'm like, she called her Margot Thomas. That was the first thing. And I'm like, who the fuck is Margot Thomas? And so then she goes on about who her father is. And I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. She goes, that girl from the TV show. And I was like, oh, Marlo Thomas. Okay. Like, yeah, you do. And then she goes on and she's like, well, have you ever met a drag queen before? And I was like, well, yeah, I have. She goes, well, how do I look compared to them? And I was like, well, most of the ones that I've, seen and spoken to have been, really done up, for a show or whatever. And then she goes, well, do I look good to be out, and about? And I was like, well, you might want to lighten up on the blue eyeshadow just a little bit. I'm like, otherwise you'll look good. And she goes, oh no, I want to be a bit extra. Do I look extra? Mind you, this drag queen, she told me she's 64 years old. Okay. So I said, yeah, you look extra. And she kept me there for like 5 minutes, like would not stop. Then she introduces herself to me as Hillary Pussy Weather. And then goes, so you really see a woman in me? And I'm like, absolutely. So then she saunters off. No goodbye, no nothing, just okay. So then she's in front of us at the checkout counter. And she goes to anybody within earshot, I'm going to be Miss Gay Syracuse tonight. I'm going to Trex. Then turns back around and looks at me and goes, have you been to Trex? And I said, nope. And she goes, go to Trex. And then she walked out of the store.
All right. So that's interesting. Can I ask a strange question?
Sure.
Not a strange question. It's not an ignorant question, but so drag queen, it was a man dressed as a woman?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Just want to get that all set here.
Yeah. So drag queens are men dressed as women. There is the converse drag kings, which are women that dress as men. They're just less prevalent.
Okay, fair enough. Just want to double check.
Yeah.
There was one thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the topic. In the world of music, did you happen to hear the new...
Already made it a ringtone, buddy.
Weezer's cover of
Yep.
Toto, Africa. So can I play... Let's just play a second of it for anybody that hasn't heard it. So Weezer... Apparently there was this big thing going on online for Weezer to cover Africa by Toto.
Because they covered Rosanna.
Which was very good. So apparently for a long time, people online were begging for this. And finally, Weezer obliged. I'll play a little clip. Hold on, here we go.
Hoping to find some old forgotten word.
I mean, it's really good.
As if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you.
Glorious.
It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do.
Very good song. So do yourself a favor, go on YouTube and find that. You will thank us. Oh man, I love that we can play music and stuff now. Anyway.
Yeah.
So let me X that out. All right, so on to our episode here. So like I said, we are doing TV shows that we're still upset were canceled.
Okay.
And, you know, there's a ton of them. I know I got a bunch. But we did ask for some phone calls. So do you want to go do a phone call first?
Sure.
So first
So
one I
exciting.
have is from Eric, who, if anybody that is from Random Chatter knows Eric, who hosts a lot of these shows and runs the network, or co-runs the, you know what I mean. Anyway, so he left us a message, so I will play his first, and we'll go from there.
April and Jay, this is Eric. I am so glad to hear that you guys are going to do an episode on TV shows that were canceled far too soon. I've got a handful of them. I promise I'll keep it quick. I know the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is Firefly, which Fox canceled after first season. It canceled before it even aired the first episode, I think.
And I agree. That it was the first one I was going to talk about. But, again, we'll get to that. So this is like having guests without having the guests. It's fantastic. All right, anyway, so I'll keep going.
They really sabotaged the show and never gave it a fair shot, which is really disappointing and tragic. And we're never going to see it again, and that's really disappointing. But another sci-fi show that Fox canceled far too soon, this one from the mid-90s, I want to say 95 to 96, is Space Above and Beyond. Really good show, great writing, great concept. Think kind of Starship Troopers meets Battlestar Galactica. It was a lot of fun, and it got canceled after its first season, kind of on a cliffhanger. I would have loved to have seen that continue. A more recent example is Dark Matter on Sci-Fi. Unfortunately, it was canceled because it was not profitable for them anymore. They had to pay royalties. It was originally a comic book, so somebody else owned the franchise, and it was not as cost-effective for them as some other things, like Killjoys and such, so Dark Matter was canceled. Stargate Universe, I know it's not as popular as the other Stargate shows, but I really liked it. I thought it had a lot of potential, and it was canceled, I think, after the second season. Young Justice, an animated superhero show that I never even paid attention to the first time around. I caught it later on. Fortunately, it is apparently coming back. So we're going to see that hopefully before too long. And then finally, Babylon 5 is one of my favorite shows ever. It has not aged well, and that's okay, but it was a really good show. And they had a spin-off show called Crusade. And especially after discovering where they were going to take the show, it's tragic that it was canceled after only one season. So those are my picks. Keep up the great work, guys. Catch you later.
So that was fun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the only thing I've ever seen was Firefly.
Yeah, so Firefly and Young Justice was another one. It was a really good cartoon. They are bringing it back, I believe. I don't know if it's Netflix
Young Justice, not Firefly.
Right, Firefly's never coming back. It's not gonna happen, people. It was a really great show. Like, I love it so much, and it's so sad that it got canceled. It's just one of those things that it was slow to take off. But if Fox would have given it a little extra time, I really think it would have stuck around for a while. At the same time, let me play devil's advocate on myself and say maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe people would have gotten bored of it anyway. I'd like to hope that wouldn't have been the case, but I know you've never really cared for it, so.
I don't like it. I tried. I really tried. Like, I think it was either last summer or the summer before. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's told me about how great Firefly is. I love Nathan Fillion. I'll watch it. No, couldn't do it.
It's a shame.
And I got about halfway through the season, maybe a little bit further, and I was just like, I'm bored.
Yeah. No, it's a shame, but I mean, I get it. Babylon 5, again, most of these shows that you mentioned, Eric, unfortunately, I apologize. I was never been a big watcher of. Dark Matter, I had heard it was pretty good, but again, I had heard that it was canceled for, not because it wasn't any good, but for other reasons, and now I know why. Space Above and Beyond I haven't heard of, but would love to check it out. Maybe it sounds pretty cool, the explanation you gave. And yeah, so that's what I have to say about those picks.
So before we get to our other voicemail,
Yeah. Yep.
how are you feel? Okay, so obviously today is May 30th, like we said. So yesterday, Roseanne was unceremoniously canceled.
Sure was.
After Roseanne went crazy on Twitter and made a very awful, horrible, racist comment about a former Obama advisor.
Which we will not repeat.
Oh, absolutely not.
So here's how I feel about it. One, when Roseanne first came back, I was like, yeah, this is great. And then like 3 episodes in, I was like, meh. I just, you know what? And I'm going to say this without getting political, because we always said this show is not going to get political because there's just too much of that in the world nowadays. But having that been said, like, I'm just sick of the ridiculousness on the internet, and I have no sympathy for these people. Like, you say stupid racist things or whatever. Like, I'm not saying everybody that says something on the internet, like, I think there is a certain level of oversensitivity with some things, but things like that, like what she said, like, there's no reason for you to say it, and sorry, your show's canceled. I have no sympathy for you. Like, just, people need to relax. Can we all just be a little more kind to each other?
Oh, we definitely need to be more kind to each other.
Stop hating everybody.
So this morning, I don't know if you saw anything on the main channel of Discord I was posting this morning.
I did not.
So Viacom pulled Roseanne from syndication. Hulu pulled Roseanne from Hulu.
Whoa, so she's done forever.
It won't be aired on the Paramount Network or TV Land, which are owned by Viacom. I'm waiting for Logo to get rid of it too.
That's what happens.
But anyways, she tweeted again this morning and said that she was Ambien tweeting. So besides sleepwalking and sleep eating, Ambien makes you sleep racist. So then the company that puts out Ambien, Sanofi,
yeah,
they fired back and tweeted, and this is the best thing I've ever heard, people of all races, religions, and nationalities work at Sanofi every day to improve the lives of people around the world. While all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect of any Sanofi medication.
Excellent. Yeah, I have no sympathy for this stuff nowadays. Like, why do people have to be such trolls? Like, just
I don't know.
be nicer to each other, people. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. Be nicer. All right, let's get to our other voicemail here.
Okay.
So this is from our actual voicemail. So it's the first time I'm playing this, so hopefully it just plays right away.
Eric uploaded an MP3 for us.
Yes. So it wasn't. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to go off on a rant about one show that I think they should never have canceled. It had great action. It had great people. It had great characters. It had great drama. It had great comedy. It brought in people from the sci-fi genre that we have never seen before outside of comic books. It was an awesome show, a wonderful show. I cannot believe and still can't believe they canceled frickin' Inhumans. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that show sucked. But really...
Hold on, I gotta stop. I thought he was serious. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm not even gonna play the rest of your friggin' message. Oh, that was good, Mike. That was good. I like that. Oh my god. So yes, so we know who this is. Side note, one of the other gentlemen from the network, Mike.
Who is one of the hosts of Caped Chronicles?
Oh, that was good. That was good. You got us on. Let me rewind it a little bit.
But really, the two shows that I liked that I thought were closed prematurely. One actually canceled this year, and that was The Last Man on Earth, and that ended on a huge cliffhanger. And that always irritates me when shows do that, when they end on a cliffhanger. But then the other one was Jericho. It played a few years back, and they kind of ended that one on a cliffhanger as well. And I'm still kind of upset about that. I wish I knew what kind of happened in the end of that. But anyways, there's my little rant. Talk y'all later.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Mike, for that. That was amazing. So I will address one thing real quick. Actually, let me address his two shows. So I loved Last Man on Earth. Like, I thought that was such a great show. I don't know if you watched it.
I watched the first season.
Yeah, I mean, Will Forte was so freaking funny on that show. So funny. And some of the guests they had, like, they had all kinds of SNL alum and,
Yeah.
you know, like, all his... I thought it was great. I'm still amazed that someone else didn't pick it up, but... And then Jericho, I've heard how good of a show Jericho was. I've never watched it. I don't know if you watched it.
I did not. I think that was Ski Ulrich,
Something like that, maybe.
who by the way is on Riverdale.
Yeah, gotcha. Isn't he somebody's parent?
He's Jughead's dad.
Oh, gotcha. But I do want to address something Mike said, and I mean, I'm sure it's not that he doesn't get this point. I mean, let me get to it before I say something that sounds insulting. It wasn't meant to be at all. The shows that end on cliffhangers. I mean, I get it. I get, like, most times that happens, it's because the show doesn't know it's going to be canceled.
Right.
Until after they've pre-recorded it. And Mike's right, that is the worst. Like, Last Man on Earth was a big one. Carrie mentioned Angel. I don't know if you watched Angel back in the day.
I didn't. I also didn't watch Buffy, though.
Angel, I don't know why I got into Angel. I don't remember, because I didn't watch Buffy, but I got into Angel. Angel ended on like a huge cliffhanger, like that was going to be this giant demon war, like monster war. Like, I was pissed about that one for a long time. But yeah, that always does suck when they end on like a cliffhanger like that. So I agree with you there, Mike. Do you? I'll go to you. I'm sure you have a bunch of shows you'd like to address for this topic.
Well, yeah. Let's see. So one that I really enjoyed was Powerless.
Which one was? Oh, yeah. The DC one that was just out last year.
Yes.
So good.
Ron
so
Funches,
funny.
Danny Pudi, Vanessa Hudgens?
Vanessa Hudgens, yep. So funny.
NBC, that was one. NBC did not give that show a chance.
No, and I didn't think it was doing that poorly.
The problem with things like that is, and they do this a lot with other shows as well, where you never know when they're going to be on. They'll, like, change the time, or, like, they'll not be on for a couple weeks, and then, like, bring, like, especially, like, brand new shows.
Do you think that's a way for them to, like, tank the show purposely?
Absolutely.
Like, why would they want to tank the show purposely, though?
I mean, I don't know. I really don't. And that was such a fun...
It was really funny.
It was a fun show. Like,
It had so much possibility.
This is what happens when, you know, when all the destruction happens. Like, somebody's got to clean this stuff up.
Right.
So I'm going to also say Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because it was canceled. I mean, it was thankfully saved.
Yeah.
But Fox said no.
I mean, it's amazing now that we live in such a time where shows can be immediately saved by Netflix and Hulu and, you know, all these other stations. Yeah, even just other networks, which is the case with Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
All right. So I found a list because I'm like, what shows are there that I really liked that got canceled? This list is the TV shows canceled before their time, and of course Firefly was the first one listed.
Of course.
Let's see. Arrested Development, but that one was
It was
obviously brought
saved.
back.
Yeah, it was saved.
Lay down, bud. Did you ever watch Pushing Daisies?
I did not. I heard it was good though.
Yeah. It's another one that, and I like Lee Pace. I just never got into it, and I think by the time it like actually was on my radar, it had already gotten canceled.
It was Lee Pace,
Lee Pace, is
like
the star.
legit Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah, Lee Pace.
That's amazing.
Let's see, Futurama.
You know what? Futurama's funny because when it first came out, I didn't care for it. But I was at the age where I was so into The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was like a second-rate Simpsons. It wasn't until after it was canceled that I really like started to love it and realize how genius it really was. It was saved for a little while though too, because Comedy Central brought it back.
In 2006, it was brought back. Yeah.
And then it was gone again. And then I think it was brought back a third time on Adult Swim, maybe? I could
Yeah, I
be
don't
wrong.
think it was brought back a third time.
But actually, they did a produced by your friend and mine, Chris Hardwick. They did a live a radio show version of Futurama last year, I think, as a charity event thing.
Okay.
Where the entire cast came back, but they did a podcast version of an episode of Futurama, and it was like an old radio drama.
Huh.
But everybody came back and did their voices, so that was kind of cool to hear everybody come back. And there was a lot of audio gags and stuff, and it was really cool. So yeah, that was another one that I loved it, but I didn't learn to love it till after its time.
Yeah, I don't know if yes, I did. I did watch it when it was on, at least towards the end, because it was on when I was in college.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I think it was definitely, it had to be, I think it was on in a dorm room or two, and we'd watch it,
Yeah, of course.
And it was on Comedy Central or
Right.
Cartoon Network.
Yep.
I mean, I like Futurama way more than I like The Simpsons. I think it's a much smarter show.
They both hold a place in my heart. Two separate places.
Okay.
Side-by-side apartments.
So another one is, and I never watched it, but I know a lot of people were very upset about it. And that was Veronica Mars.
Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't watch it either, but I know people were super upset about it. Mm-hmm. To the point where they made a movie. Was it a movie?
Yes.
2 years ago, 2 or 3 years
Yes.
ago, and it bombed.
I don't know if it bombed, did it?
I think it might have bombed.
I know that Kristen Bell was very, very vocal about I think she's actually the one that even maybe started the Kickstarter
To bring it back, she loved the character.
to make it a
Yeah.
a movie. So another one then, and this isn't on the list, at least not where I'm seeing it, but Community.
Surprisingly, I was never a big fan.
I loved that show.
It was funny at first, and then it started to annoy the crap out of me for some reason.
I thought it was a very, very funny, very smart show. And come on, bud. And then it got canceled, and then Yahoo tried to have an app where they would show programming.
Yeah, it didn't work.
And that was the only thing that the final season of Community was on this app.
But they didn't even get everybody back, did they?
The only one that didn't come back, well, Chevy Chase, but Chevy Chase was not wanted back because he's a nightmare.
Super old racist guy.
Yeah. And he played a super old racist guy on the show.
I think he was just confused. He didn't know he was on TV.
The chick that's always on Talking Dead. What's her name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She is. She's the queen of Talking Dead. She's got her notebook.
Yes.
Yvonne,
Oh my God.
Yvonne?
What is?
No.
Yes, Nicole Yvette Brown.
Nicole. I said Yvonne, and you said yes.
Yes, Nicole Yvette Brown.
Okay, gotcha.
She came back for like an episode or two, but she had left previously anyways.
Yeah.
And same with Donald Glover. He left the final season on NBC.
Yeah.
Like mid-season, he had like some sort of crazy ass meltdown and like wrote this missive, open letter that was published online, and it was.
Yeah, I remember he was like, "I hate this stupid show, and I hate all of you."
It wasn't like that, but it was kind of like, is he okay?
Turns out he's fantastic.
Yeah,
At everything he does.
It really is. So yeah, I mean that was a show that I loved, and I was really upset, and then I was really glad when they brought that back to Yahoo Screen. I know. And the whole joke with the show was 6 seasons and a movie. Like they would just like randomly like run down the hall and just yell 6 seasons and a movie. And we got to the 6th season.
Never got a movie.
No movie.
Not happening.
My Name is Earl.
I loved My Name is Earl.
That got canceled after 5 seasons,
I mean,
4 seasons.
it got a lot of seasons, let's be honest.
September 20th, 2005 to May 19th, 2009.
I thought that was a good show.
Yeah.
I wish he finished his list.
What's on your list? I mean, I've got tons, so.
No, keep going. I really didn't have too many. I had Firefly and Last Man on Earth and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and we covered most of the ones I could think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Another one that I did not watch, but another one that even like the actors have been trying to like get either another season or a movie is Deadwood.
I had heard of that. I never watched that either.
That
was
since I don't
on-
feel like westerns, it never appealed to me.
It was on HBO, right?
Yes.
There was another HBO show that was on at the same time that just popped into my head, and I was obsessed with it. So I was like catching up with it. I think I borrowed 1 or 2 seasons on DVD from my friend, and it was a show called Carnival.
Yep.
So good. So
Did it get
good.
canceled?
It did get canceled. Oh, it was so good. And like it started getting really, really good. It had such an amazing cast. Clancy Brown is the only one I remember off the top of my head, but I just remember thinking like the entire cast was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Such an amazing show. Yeah, it did get canceled. I think after 2 or 3 seasons.
Okay. So Carrie mentioned Dollhouse.
I never watched that.
So I watched like an episode or 2 like at friends' houses. And it was only on for like I guess a season. 27 episodes. And it was basically like
Is it Eliza Dushku and they were all assassins or something?
yeah, I think like they would like wipe them every time. They were like called like dolls. And they would like wipe them and like, insert like a new personality like for whatever was needed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, unfortunately that's not one that I watched, so I can't really speak to it. So on this list, they had Heroes at number 14. Now, personally, I think Heroes was on for longer than it should have been.
Yeah, I mean, it got weird. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, and then they brought it back.
I never watched the original Heroes, but I watched the newest one.
So the newest one, I was actually kind of bummed that they canceled it after 1 season just because I kind of liked where the story was going. But the original series, watch the first season. It is one of like the best. And you could watch the first season and never watch another episode of it because they wrap up the story pretty nicely.
Yeah.
But it is one of like the best first seasons of a TV show pretty much ever.
Did you ever watch? There was another show on ABC, Better Off Ted.
So I've seen a couple episodes.
Oh, so funny. I thought that show was so funny. That was
Okay.
canceled. I think it only got 1 year.
Yeah, I think it's actually, was it on Hulu or Netflix? It's on one of those because I have it in my queue to like eventually finish.
Yeah. So I have a list as well. I'm just looking through some of them. Never watched this, obviously, because it was in 1981. The Brady Brides.
Oh God.
My unconditional affection for the Brady franchise blended me to this spin-off's weaknesses. Deep down, I knew it was terrible, but it was the kind of throwback terrible I could get lost in. Way more than the 10 episodes it was given.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know nothing about it.
Fringe.
Ugh, I never cared for it.
Okay, so I loved Fringe. It was like one of my favorite shows until like the final season. And then when they ended the show, I just remembered, I think it came up in like a time hop or like on my Facebook memories. I remember being mad about it.
Yeah.
And I believe my Facebook post about it was, "Thank you for wasting the last 6 years of my life."
I think I remember that post. You know, I think it came out because it came out after Lost, and I think it was like I was looking for another Lost, and it lost me.
Yeah, it premiered September 2008 and ended in 2013 after 5 seasons and 100 episodes. So Angel was already mentioned. Reaper. Did you ever watch Reaper?
I did not.
Reaper was such a fun show. It was about this kid, Sam Oliver, who finds out on his 21st birthday or his 18th birthday.
Oh, yeah, he ends up being the Grim Reaper.
No. He finds out that but he finds out that his parents sold his soul to the devil. Like they made a deal with the devil and
Yeah.
like had to give up their firstborn, which was Sam. And he works in like a Home Depot kind of store.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this.
And I think then later on you find out, so he works for the devil retrieving souls that have escaped from hell. And then I think you end up finding out that he's actually the devil's son.
Weird. Sounds like it got weird.
But it was such a great show. And it ended on a cliffhanger.
Of course.
Which was upsetting because they're like, and it was like one of the first shows that I think fell under the CW brand.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Like-
It was on
like-
CW. Yep.
Yeah, it had, because what was it? Because it used to be like Channel 11, then it moved to like,
It was the WB, and then it was yeah.
yep, and then it became the CW, and I think that was one of the first shows that was a CW show.
Yeah. How about, did you ever watch the show Happy Endings?
So Ashley and I have been like slowly making our way through it. Like whenever we get together, we watch a couple
God,
episodes.
I love that show. It was so funny. There was not one moment on that show that was not hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that was
I agree. It is a very funny show.
amazing.
Although I will say, Casey Wilson kind of annoys me, not because of that show, but because of a podcast she did.
Okay.
She's got a podcast, and she talked about being really mean to her co-host because she's pregnant and like, well, not pregnant anymore, but like played it off. She's like, "Well, I'm pregnant, so you can't get mad at me." And I was like, "That was a dick move that you made, that you did." Like,
Yeah.
her and her co-host were like supposed to go see a movie because
Right.
they're really good friends in real life.
Yeah.
And then she ended up ditching her and going to see that same movie with their other friend. Like they ended up, like the three of them had a group text to go see the movie, and then Danielle couldn't go. So they left the group text, texted each other, and went to the movie without Danielle
Yikes.
and talked about it on the podcast. And I was like, I mean, I was so mad at that I stopped listening to their podcast altogether.
Really?
I'm like, that was a dick move, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not going
yeah.
to support you anymore.
Another one that I watched, I don't know if you watched it, it got 2 seasons, is Sarah Connor Chronicles, Terminator.
I did not watch it.
Oh, that was a good show too. And that another one that ended on such a cliffhanger, but it set up like an insane story. Like season 3 was going to be nuts. And they just friggin' canceled it. Stupid.
So, speaking of cliffhangers, there's a list here too. Apparently, Pushing Daisies also ended on a cliffhanger. Hannibal. Did you watch Hannibal?
I wasn't a big fan. I watched a couple episodes. I can see why people were into it. I just wasn't. Like, it was, it was like about the shock factor. And
Yeah, I
just,
watched the first 2 seasons. Didn't finish the 3rd season.
Okay.
But it ended on a cliffhanger of like Hannibal and Will like going off of a cliff. And like Brian Fuller had another season planned out before NBC got rid of it.
Yeah, I think that Netflix or something was going to pick it up, and they never did.
Yeah. Alf.
I did not know Alf was canceled.
Alf was canceled. And then the final season takes a dark turn. He's captured by the alien task force in the final episode. And then 6 years later, they did a movie to resolve it.
Good for them. Oh, boy.
Did you watch Leverage?
I did not watch Leverage on TNT.
Leverage was a pretty fun show.
Yeah.
Kind of like Ocean's 11-y, like they always did some sort of heist, like every week.
You know, a show that kind of reminded me of that, since you say Ocean's 11, Vegas. Was it Vegas? With James Caan and Josh Duhamel and...
I didn't watch it.
Oh, that was pretty good, too.
It got canceled, at least with Leverage, but it wrapped up the story, so I think they
Yeah.
knew it was going to be their final season.
No, I gotcha.
And they did wrap it up, so at least we got some closure.
Well, I'm sure there are a ton more.
Oh yeah, for
But-
sure. Did you? Oh, here's one. Flash Forward. Did you watch that one?
I did not.
That was a good show too. It only got like a season.
All right, give me one more.
Oh, don't! I hate when you do that to me.
I know. Well, that's a lot of pressure, but you can do it.
Because there's so many. There's so many.
It's okay. Just pick one. One more.
Dinosaurs.
Good pick. Good pick. That show was epic. Such a great show.
It was epic,
Didn't
and it
it-
ended.
Didn't it end with a meteor hitting them or something?
Yes.
Killing them all?
It was so grim. It was such a.
I love that
grim...
because they knew they were going to be canceled. So they're like, all right, well, this is how the dinosaurs died. That's pretty awesome. If you're going to go out with a bang. Literally.
Which they did.
So I'm sure we forgot some. I'd ask you to hit us up on Twitter with some of your favorites, but you probably won't. Sorry. But hit us up on Discord if you're on Discord with some of the ones we missed. I do love getting in the conversations after we record the episodes and people start talking to us as they're listening. To me, that's like the most fun thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I
legit, I
enjoy
love
that
it.
as well.
So hit us up on Discord about some of the ones that we forgot. I'm sure we forgot some big ones, but
Well, that's because Jay cut me off.
well, I gotta
I've
keep
gone on forever.
time running here. So
No one made you the timekeeper.
I'm trying to be responsible. Okay. Do you have a fanfic pick this week?
I do. I just have to find it. I didn't have it queued up because I was looking at other stuff.
Okay.
So, my history, because I just read one that I really liked. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. So, obviously Teen Wolf, because there's only like a couple of different kinds of things that I read. And it is called but Doctor.
Okay.
And it's by Stilinski Sparkles.
I feel like I've heard that name before from you.
Maybe. And it is a Derek Hale style Stilinski, or Steric. And it's about them being doctors working as pediatric doctors. So it's an alternate universe story. It's cute. It's I enjoy it. Okay.
Yeah, so I would have queued up the sound, but I forgot, so check it out.
Check it out.
All right, I got this. Check it out.
Oh,
Check it out with Steve Brule.
okay.
Anyway, so one more segment this evening before we stop recording. I found this great list of the 30 most ridiculous comic book characters ever, and I just want to read some of them to you and get your reactions.
Okay.
So the list is from ranker.com.
Of course.
And it says, for every Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, or Wolverine, there's a Robin. And a Sentry and a Hawkeye. And those guys are also great. But for every Hawkeye, there's also an Aqualad or Matter Eater, who we'll get to. Those heroes and villains so lame, they rarely last an issue. Those ideas we can't believe got past the idea stage, much less past the drawing board and into our comics. Some of these characters even became cult favorites. Somehow, looking at you, Maggot and Batmite, there are 31 comic characters no one takes seriously. Vote up the most ridiculous. So, the first one, number 1 on this list. I'm gonna start from number 1 instead of number 30. Arm Fall Off Boy. Arm Fall Off Boy has the amazing ability to detach his arm to use as a weapon.
Okay.
That's it. He can pop his arms off and smack people around with them.
That's all right.
So there's that. Continuing on down the list, here's another good one. This, I assume he's a villain. His name is Dog Welder. So Dog Welder welds dogs to people's faces. That's right, dogs. He punishes. He's a superhero. I'm sorry. He punishes criminals by welding a dog to their face. Despite the fact that you can't weld dogs, apparently you can weld dogs. So there's that. I apologize. I'm not giving too much information on these, like comic universe, but feel free to look these up if you want more information. The next one on this list is called Codpiece. Codpiece's origin is he was knocked down by a girl once and made modifications to his area, explosive modifications.
No, unacceptable.
So basically he's got a big old cannon there. And in the picture, his speech balloon says, "You finished? That your best shot? Guess what, mummies? I'm just starting." I assume he's fighting mummies. I don't know. But he's got a smoking cannon where his codpiece should be. Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm saying no.
Oh, okay.
I totally disapprove of that one.
Here's a good one, and I'm going to spell it out for you. This superhero, villain, whatever, his name is I-E-Y-E, Scream, S-C-R-E-A-M.
You know, I do love a good pun.
It says, say his name out loud. Ice cream can turn into any flavor of ice cream and is assisted by an unstable molecule refrigeration system. Mm-hmm. Yep. So there's a couple things wrong with this next one. This next one is called Blue Snowman from DC Comics. I believe it was in Wonder Woman. So, First off, Blue Snowman is a woman, posing as a man, dressed as a blue snowman. That shoots a snow gun.
I'm very confused.
As well you should be.
Okay.
This superhero wears a helmet with 2 mirrors on the side of his head,
Okay.
and his name is Hindsight Lad. And his power is to say, "I told you so." That's
Oh,
it.
jeez.
That's his whole power. He says, I told you so." So there's that.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Here's a good one. This is from Marvel Comics. I believe Spider-Man. Lady Stiltman. So she's just like Stiltman, but she's a lady. Which also brings up the point. There's a Stiltman.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, they didn't list Stiltman on this list.
No, just Lady Stiltman.
Okay.
So then we get to Matter Eater Lad. Matter spelled Matter.
Okay.
He can eat anything.
Okay.
That's it. He can eat anything.
All right.
Yeah. Our next one at number 9 is Jin Genie. So Jin Genie creates seismic waves, just like a slew of other mutants, it seems, but only when she drinks. The power of the waves is in direct proportion to how much booze she has in her system.
Okay.
And
Girl after my own heart.
And it appears if she was in the X-Men, because she's got a giant X on her chest. So, I don't know much about that. Here's a good one. The Red Bee. So the Red Bee's powers is that he was powerless. He had a trained bee. He attacked people with a trained bee named Michael.
I love that his bee's name is Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. There's Walrus. The walrus doesn't steal anything or even try to hurt anyone. He just hits stuff, inanimate objects mainly, like a 12-year-old would when cranky. But he is good at crossword puzzles, a fact listed in his powers. Let's see what else we got. Prody, Proty.
Okay.
Prody is a shapeshifter with telekinetic powers. Except they don't work, and he's stuck in a vomit style pile, like a
Ew.
vomity little pile thing with arms and legs.
Why?
I don't know.
Must be a DC comic character.
Here's a good one: Yank and Doodle. That's right. When they're together, they have super strength, and when they're apart, they're just dudes. Good old Yank and Doodle. Oh, God.
All right. How many more do we have?
A few more.
Okay.
A few more, timekeeper. Let's see. I'll skip around here. There's the Legion of Super Pets. There was Super Horse, Streaky, who was a cat with a lightning bolt on his side, Crypto, the super pup, and
Yep.
Super Monkey. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Here's a good one. Asbestos Lady. Asbestos Lady made the suit to be immune to the Human Torch, the original 40s Human Torch. Keep in mind, this was before we knew how bad asbestos was. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, here's a good one. Black Condor. Black Condor's entire family was eaten, and he was raised by condors. He was found by a mountain hermit who taught him to speak about justice, or taught him to speak and about justice. He eventually moved to America and became a senator. I don't know if that's true, if that's just a joke, but...
Like Harvey Birdman.
See. This was I forget where I saw this character. Oh, Jessica Jones, the Wizard. So he's like Marvel's equivalent to the Flash,
Okay.
But Whizzer had to get a transfusion of a mongoose blood to counteract a cobra bite, which somehow gave him super speed.
Okay.
No explanation. Just that's yeah. Here's a good old classic one that I always thought was ridiculous. The Wonder Twins.
Ugh.
Do you know what the actual Wonder Twins' powers are?
No.
Okay. So Jaina could turn into any animal, which is super useful, right?
Yep.
Zan could turn into any form of water. That's it. That was his power. Any form of water.
So like an ice cube?
Yeah. Ice cube or water
Or like steam?
or steam.
Or we talking,
Any
like,
form of water.
Tea, coffee?
Tea, coffee, whatever. Yeah, that was that needless to say that was a little bit
Lopsided?
seemed a little bit lopsided. Let's see. See if I can give you one more here. Here we go. This was an X-Men character, Dazzler. Are you familiar with Dazzler?
I am not.
So, Dazzler's powers are basically being Christina Aguilera with a built-in light show. So basically, she could make all these lights, these like crazy lights and shit.
Okay.
The louder she sings, the brighter the lights are. That's her entire set of mutant powers.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And after that came Jubilee, who basically can just make fireworks. I think they made her a vampire eventually or something. I don't know. She emits like sparkles from her hands.
Was she on The Gifted or
I don't think so.
No, Days of Future Past I think she was in.
Jubilee?
Yeah, she's
Or
in one of
Dazzler.
the newer class X-Men.
Yeah, Jubilee was. You don't see her powers, but she was wearing like the yellow raincoat and everything.
Oh, okay.
So that's the list, and that's not to be confused with just the Batman villains. Like if you heard some of the Batman villains,
Yeah, I have not. I still haven't watched Lego Batman. It's on my list of things to watch.
Condiment King. There's a
I love
villain called
that.
the Condiment King.
I love that. That's hysterical.
Just let that settle in. Anyway, so that's all I got for this week. Didn't have too much.
Okay.
I lost my little paper that said all of our stuff, but you can find us on Twitter, ANJ. I have no ideas.
You want towels? Want towels. Need sleepy.
That's
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
that's
Please.
wonderful. That's great. I'm so happy you're enjoying this program. Can I finish
Sorry,
now?
that's the one with our housekeeping.
Can I finish? Oh, I get it, because housekeeping. I didn't. That joke completely went over my head. Oh, my God.
I don't just want to play Tommy Boy for no reason.
Housekeeping, you want me to jerk you off? What?
What kind of establishment is this?
Great show. Great movie. I almost said show. Great movie. So we are on Twitter, ANJ have no ideas. Our email is aprilandjhavenoideas@gmail.com. On Facebook, April and J have no ideas. And we're on iTunes, Stitcher, the Random Chatter Network, randomchatter.com,
can also
iHeartRadio.
call us.
You can also call us, and please do. And that number is, unless you have it readily available,
I do. 475-212-5457.
please leave us a voicemail. Guaranteed we will play it. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't care how inappropriate. We will play it, and I will not edit it out. Please, I challenge you. If you read our social media and you saw the Super Mario Craigslist ad, you know the kind of stuff we look up. But again, I'm also going to read it, and it's going to be in your voice. So, do what you got to do. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm sure I missed a couple things, but again, I usually write down all of our social media info, and I lost the piece of paper, so shows you how invested I am. Apparently.
Wow. We have a Facebook page.
Yeah. Listen, if you've gotten up to this episode, you know where to find us because you keep listening. So if not, go back to a later episode and listen to that.
Exactly.
All
I
the
was gonna
stuff's in
say
there.
that.
It's all in there.
Oh man. All right. Sorry, I threw us off the rails with housekeeping.
It's okay.
Well, as always, I've been April,
And I've been Jay.
and that was an idea.
A canceled idea.
Ah! You will not get the last word.